Who got the illest podcast on our New York football giants?
Bleedbigblue, and we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop. We bleed big blue. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Looking through the face man from LT's side. Got blue running through my veins since the day I was born. High, ride or die with my squad, no matter what the score. Got the boss Marco, got the big lineman Tim, making lists of shame and glory. We got you listening. And Captain Negative never drifted back at number 2. And J-Money got you. And we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop. Bleed big blue. And we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop, no. And we never gon' stop. Bleed big blue.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun. Get your feelings hurt, that's too bad. What the are you doing standing 10 yards to the backfield?
Four hosts, they bout to wreck shit like Marco. Addicted to the Giants like it's Netflix and Narcos. The CEO making big moves as per usual. Captain Negative calling everybody delusional. This podcast is number one. Like when you take a piss, so share the link and pass it. Like Major making splits and Mr. Make-A-Wish. The sophisticated click. I spit offensive lines, now Tim can take a sip of some beer because he likes the taste of it, right? Don't forget the New York Giants beat the Patriots twice. The sickest dudes eating chips and salsa like it's Victor Cruz. Win or lose, always gonna root for Big Blue. It's true, this a classic show. Tyree, catch it, bro. Play a drinking game while you listen and call it Plaxico. Take a couple shots. If it's funny, you can rewind to Bleed Blue. Means it's in their jeans like Levi. Eli, man in the shit just like a sailor. Captain Week attacking bum rush like Lawrence Taylor. Podcast on point, the sharpest arrows. BBG stay gritty like Mark Bavaro.
What's going on, everyone? What is going on? Good evening, Bleed Big Blue Nation. My name is Marco. I will be your host tonight for a little impromptu action. You know, we just like to jump on. It should be a fun show. Lots been going on, obviously. If you are listening through YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, we are live. We're in the comment section. We have the phone lines open at 516-453-9383. If you are on YouTube, please throw the thumbs up. And if you're new to here, throw that sub. We have notifications on, so if you sub during the show or do a super chat during the show, you'll see it right on screen. It's a new little feature. I've been getting a lot of love for the new layout and everything like that. So, you know, we're doing some good things. This is not a one-man show. Obviously, I don't want to sit here for 2 hours and just ramble on to you guys. I have help. So I called in some backups. Who did I call? Who's on the line? Who is on the line? I think that's you, sir. Are you sleeping there, Mr. Captain? Captain.
What's up, buddy?
Ah, we are live. We are.
Captain Negative. I can hear that.
Yeah, the intro was.
But I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
At all.
Nothing.
Not good.
Not good.
This is what happens when you go impromptu.
How about now? Can you hear me?
All right, I'm going to try back.
Okay. Everyone in the chat, you can hear me, correct? All right, hold on. The phone lines might be giving me an issue. Just give me 1 second. Stick through it. I don't know what's going on with James. Maybe his phone broke. Who knows? You can hear me and you can hear him. James, you are making it very difficult, my friend. I'll get a workaround going. So what do you guys want to talk about, huh? What's on your mind? Go right through the right to the Gettleman press conference, correct? Did his little press tour. Let's switch up the screen for you. Boom. You want to talk about wide receivers? All right, let me go to the phone. 914, are you there? Hello.
Let me go to the phone. 914, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Can
me?
you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
All right, give me 1 second, guys. Let me fix out the audio. I know you guys can hear me, but something's going on with the phone line. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
You want to go overall or you want to go piece by piece? Let's go piece by piece. Let's break it down while we have the time here.
All right. So early morning, he does a phone-in call with all the beat writers, and he starts with his opening statement. Right. We didn't want to trade Odell, but it was wind up what had happened. We were doing it for the betterment of the team. I only went to reach out to one other team, being the Bills, and over 10 hours, I negotiated a trade with Cleveland. So a lot of BS, because a lot of the beat reporters are reporting the exact opposite. We talked to San Francisco.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, go. You can.
No, I don't know. Supposedly, I saw reported earlier that he is friendly with the GM of Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, right. So if there's an offer on the table and you made one phone call, why wouldn't you make 30 more or 29 more? Right? I mean, whether you're dealing from a position of power or not, you have an offer on the table, right? So you're not the one that's setting the price. Cleveland has already set the price with their offer on the table. They gave you a deadline of time, I'm assuming, probably, to say, okay, this deal needs to be done by. We're not going to sit here with our tails in our hands. We need. We need an answer, but you can't tell me that the people that Gettleman has working for him, that you can't get on the horn and cover. There has to be 3 people that can cover 10 teams apiece and get on the horn and basically say, okay, here's the offer. Are you interested? And let them say no.
Right.
Let them say no.
Right. That was his thing, that he wanted to come from a position of power. And if you're reaching out to someone, you are not in the position of power to negotiate.
And you know what? And that's fine. Like I could respect that thinking if you didn't pick up the phone to call Buffalo.
Right.
Right? You picked up the phone and called somebody, Dave. I mean, you called one team. Why just one team? Because they were the ones who were trying to get the Antonio Brown situation was completely different. So to even put Odell in the same, because you were afraid that Odell can one day become Antonio Brown's situation, does not make the Antonio Brown situation Odell's situation. Not at this moment in time. So to be naive to the point to say, okay, I have a deal on the table from Cleveland. Let me reach out to Buffalo because of what just happened with Antonio Brown. Like, what? What? Yeah, and if you're going to do that, if you're going to pick up the phone to one, there's 29 other teams in the league that should get a phone call, or at least the teams that are above 17. If you're telling me that, hey, in order for me to move off of 17, somebody has to beat that pick, right? Okay, so I don't want to go further back than 17. No problem, Dave. I could respect that. Call the other 16 damn teams.
So yeah, a lot of BS in the one statement. He doesn't call anyone else. He has a deal in hand, so he has the position of power. You're gonna match it or no? Oh, I'll go back to the original deal that I have with some other team. You tell me he doesn't have any other friends in the league. He's lonely. There with one other friend. Can't call anyone else.
Well, I'm sorry. It shouldn't come down to who you're friends with. It should come down to who is willing to give me the better deal, right? And as long as that team isn't Washington, Philadelphia, or Dallas, then and the only team that's picking in front of us is Washington. So take them off the table, and that leaves 15 teams. 14 if you eliminate us because we're picking 6. And I'm sorry, the Jets would have been on the table. I don't care. If a team's willing to give me the higher pick, if I think he's that much of a problem and I'm eliminating him, why is anyone off the board that's not a division opponent?
So then
it just doesn't make sense, Marco. So some does not add up. Like, come out and say that we couldn't handle him, we tried it, we made a mistake. Like, I could respect that. Right. This bullshit about best offers and not calling at positions of power. You weren't in a position of power because you couldn't handle the kid from day one. The organization enabled him from day one.
So then we have another fascinating thing. He didn't want to trade Landon Collins at the deadline because how it would seem in the locker room. And 2 weeks earlier, he traded Snacks and he traded Eli Apple. 2 weeks earlier. What does that say in the locker room?
I don't know really what the Eli Apple would say. I don't know how much of a problem he was. The Eli Apple thing, to me, ties directly into the Francesa piece, honestly. So I'll stay away from that right now. I think he's trying to cover the mistakes that he's made, and I don't think. I mean, it's inexcusable, some of the stuff he's done, and the only way to get around that is to bullshit. And do you buy it or don't you buy it? I don't buy it. Like, I'm not. Like, I don't know how you can sit here and tell me that you, like, a comp pick, and I don't believe there was a first-round pick on the table, but I do believe that there was a pick on the table.
I believe.
I do believe that there was something that there was an offer that was made for a third or a fourth-round pick that could have really helped you out, or just put you in a better position than you are now. And
wouldn't you love an extra third-round pick right now? Wouldn't you love an extra third-round pick right now?
Even a fourth-round pick at this point. I mean, even a fourth-round pick at this point would be phenomenal, because those are picks that you can package to do other things with.
And move on up. Or get a,
I mean, those are you can move up into the third with those extra fourth-round picks. I don't like the fact that, they gave Philadelphia a pick by signing Tate.
Yeah,
I just don't know what's going on in the organization. Nothing seems to make sense right now. Absolutely nothing seems to make sense at all right now.
Do you want to attempt to go to the phone lines, or do you think everything is going to fall apart?
I would go to the phone lines. Right now, I'm having phone issues myself. So let's go to the phone lines while I can.
While you can. All right, ready? Let's go to 914. 914, are you there?
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Yes, hello.
You can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you. Hey, got a
I can
question
barely
for
hear you, though.
You can't hear me?
Now I can. Go ahead.
I can hear you. I can hear him.
Oh, okay. Long time Giants fan, first time caller.
Welcome.
I have this thought that's been stuck in my craw with Beckham. With his injury, do you think that there is a reason that could be a part of the reason why they signed him to that long-term deal to kind of disguise the fact that there could be something going on health-wise with his leg or his ankle, and then to make him more attractive, and then knowing that there was a health issue with his ankle, that they knew that they were going to have issues with his health in the future?
I don't think you sign him to a long-term deal if you have any. See, I think the problem with that is you have leverage over the Odell Beckham situation last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants were bidding against themselves, and they fell for a 2 or 3 month Boy Scout routine, and handed him a huge contract. I think that he was around the facility, he was there prior to them giving him the contract, and I think that probably added up to that they were okay with how he looked physically and what their doctors were telling them, and then that said, okay, well, you're not going to give the guy that much money if you have any questions about his leg, right? I mean,
right.
He's a wide receiver.
And in regards to the trade, he still has to pass the physical. It's still pending on physical.
Yeah,
So
I don't think the trade had anything. I don't think I don't think the contract really had anything to do with that whatsoever. I think the contract had to do with appeasing a big mouth.
Right.
And I think that's it. I think they didn't want it to be a distraction. They didn't want the franchise tag to be a distraction, and they put their tail between their legs and they handed him money.
All right. Thanks for the call. I'm going to go to the next one and see what we got. 732. Are you there? What's your name and where you calling from?
Sam, Jersey.
What's up, Sam from Jersey? Welcome. Welcome on. What are you feeling?
I just wanted to know.
Sure.
I just wanted to know
What do you
what
want to
your
know?
opinions are. I was just thinking in my head, since we have the 6, 17, and one thing that I don't think would be out of this world that could happen is the Patriots could give us their first-round pick for Shepard. Since they're picking at the top, I don't think we would take their second for them.
No, you'd be lucky to get one of the seconds. They have 2. You'd be lucky to get 50-something or 60-something. It's 57 or 64. You're not getting the first-round pick for Shepard. And you're not getting the first-round pick for Shepard because you have to sign him to a contract. So his value right now is on a 1-year deal. You got to invest money in him. It takes away a little bit of. I think you can get Shepard for the second. I think you get him for the second. If I'm New England, that would be my best offer. And I think if that deal's on the table, I think you make it. I don't think that deal's on the table, and I don't think the Giants would take it.
All right, and one thing that I was thinking, would you guys, let's say, at 6 we go somebody like a Devin White, 17 someone like Greedy Williams, and then in like the second round Jalen Ferguson. I was before what came out about Montez Sweat, I wanted him at 6, but I honestly could see him falling into like the 3rd, 4th rounds now with his heart issues.
No, I think you're going way too far with the heart thing. I think that plummets him. I think you can make a case that he will be gone in the teens. I don't think teams. If he was we heard from a doctor today on Twitter, somebody that Marco knows, and he said that if he was cleared to participate in the combine, they take that stuff really seriously. And if he was cleared at all because of the seriousness of the heart issue, of any heart issue, how someone could end up dead on a football field, that if they weren't comfortable, that they would not have cleared him to even participate in the combine. So when you hear stuff like that, you hope and you have your fingers crossed that for the kid, regardless of what happens with the Giants, but for Montez Sweat, you would hope that everything is going to be okay. Now, a team is going to do their due diligence. They're going to speak to their doctors. They're going to speak to him. They're going to speak to whatever they can get clearance to see in reference to his medical records. And if he's in a position where, he's confident that this really doesn't have any ramifications on his health, then it would, if it was me or you in that situation, would you be tempted or more likely to give up your medical records to the teams that may be asking for them? I would. If I'm looking to be a top 10 pick, and I want to go as high as humanly possible, then I would, in order to make those teams comfortable, disclose some things medically that they may be concerned about. Now, if those tests come back fine, I think he goes right where everyone thought he was going to be, and that's anywhere between maybe 5 and 15, depending on how things fall. Can I see him dropping a little bit if teams are concerned? Yeah, but I think when you talk about 3rd, 4th round, I think that's way too far. Right now, from what we know, I think it's way too far to drop the kid. As for 6 in your picks, I don't mind them. I think they're pretty good. If we're not going to go QB, the guy that I've been really watching and have my eye on lately is Brian Burns from Florida State, the edge rusher there. I really like him. He's growing on me at 6 if the board falls a certain way. But I can't complain with the guys you threw out there for 6 and 17. I like Greedy and what do you say, White? I like White too.
One of them is going to be there. One of them
Who's
should
that?
be there.
Snake?
Go ahead, brother.
Oh, do you think that we have any chance of getting those top 3 premier defensive players in this draft?
No.
Wait,
because even if I don't, because who are the top 3 you're going for? Who are the names you're looking at? Quentin Williams,
Devin,
Josh Allen,
and Nick Bosa.
Now, you cut out there for a second. It was Bosa, Williams, who else?
Yeah, he's coming
Josh
in now.
Allen.
What's up, brother? Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Williams and Bosa. That's what he was saying.
White, Bosa, Williams, and Josh Allen, I think he said. If that's the case, I think you're getting – well, it depends. If these teams the Giants are in a tough spot right now. And that's why I keep looking at the name Brian Burns, because if all these teams are BSing about quarterbacks, if Arizona is not going to move on from Rosen and they stick with Bosa, and then it goes so on and so forth, and none of the quarterbacks come off the board or nobody makes a move to move up for the quarterbacks, you could be looking at a potentially where those defensive players and Devin White are all off the board, and it's our pick. And then who is left, and that's why I've been looking at the Sweats of the world and the Brian Burnses of the world to try to get a feel for some of those guys. The more I watch them, more Sweat is so raw, but so much God-given talent. But I think I would I think I would go Burns right now at 6 if you gave me a choice. If the board falls
James,
like that defense on.
I think we have a guest calling in. Let's see. It's not every day.
I'm curious about this whole thing, by the way.
It's not every day we get another CEO on the on our podcast, so it's a good thing.
I feel like a lowly peasant.
Yes.
I can't. I don't have my own. I don't have my own plane. I don't have anything. I gotta just watch you guys.
Yeah. We're just us hightailing it up. Doing all the big moves, all the big CEO stuff. Mark, are you there? Are you listening to this?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How are you today, bro?
We're doing good.
How's it
Mark,
going, James? How's it going, Marco?
Good, good. Do you want to give everyone who is not aware the bio, the CEO of Statement Games? You want to give them a little spiel?
Yeah, sure. I'll give a little bit of a spiel, but just wanted to point out that you guys have been cracking me up on Twitter all week, man. Keep up the funny stuff, man. Some good stuff.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good trying.
But thanks for having me on. Like you had mentioned, my name is Mark Salino. I'm the CEO of an online game. The game is called StatementGames.com. It's just got a little bit of a different take on fantasy sports. As I just said, it's just an online game. We play it a little bit differently. We organize tournaments around specific sporting events, and we kind of list a whole bunch of different props, or hence the company name, statements, around that sporting event. So I guess the best way to describe it, since there's a Giants show here, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that the Giants playing the Cowboys. You log into Statement Games with either a Facebook or Google account, or you can do it the old-fashioned way by just providing an email address. This is a free-to-play game, so there's no cost, there's no ongoing obligations. You don't have to fund an account or enter in any type of social security numbers or any of that fun stuff here. You're playing for prizes and experiences. But if you take a look at some of the tournaments that we have on the board, let's just say the Giants are playing the Cowboys, I present a list of props or statements that could take place during that sporting event. For example, Barkley over-under, 95 yards rushing, Cowboys defense over or under, 1.5 sacks for the game. Just imagine kind of like a list of 50 different props,
Okay.
60 different props that are associated with that sporting event. It's your job to pick 10 of them. You rank it from 10 to 1, 10 being your most confident pick. So as the game plays out, if your number 10 statement becomes correct, then you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You're going to play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people. The person with the most points at the end of that sporting event wins. And basically, it's all for virtual currency coins that are really just specific to the Statement Games platform. And basically what you do is you rack up enough of these coins here, and we have a reward section. You just kind of exchange it for a gift card of your choice. Probably got a catalog of about 200 different brands that you can exchange your coins for. So basically you name a brand, whether it's from Google Play to Nike to the NFL store here. It's definitely within our reward section. Pick out a gift card that you want, and you go from there. But of course you got to compete at a high enough level to accrue a certain number of coins so that you can exchange them for something. But that's pretty much it. It's just an online game.
Yeah, I think I played the other day. I was watching. I think it was one of the WWE pay-per-views. I was having.
it was the first
I was having a ball. Oh my god, it was so fun. I'm not even gonna lie. And then they had it like, Vince McMahon makes his way onto the pay-per-view. You get 10 points, or you have to rank it, and you get 10 points. I was dying hysterical. It was so fun. I'm not even saying that because you're on the show, but it was nuts. But yeah, I want to.
Do you have to have a certain amount of people? Can you log on by yourself and just join one? Do you have to have a group of people to go in with you?
You log on by yourself, and of course, if you wanted to create a private tournament and where you want to play with your fantasy football league or just with various different friends and family members and things like that, you have the ability to do so. But just like any other daily fantasy sports platform that's kind of like on the market today, it's a very similar concept. You just log in by yourself. You pick a tournament that you want to go ahead and join. We have a pretty rapidly growing community base, so you'll always have an opportunity to play against somebody.
That's great. Now, is there an idea to take this to a money format, or is there not even an option to even go that route in the future or anything like that? Because it sounds really fun, and I know a bunch of people that would love to get into something like this and throw a couple of real bucks on it. Is there any potential for that in the future, or is this how you foresee this staying forever?
We are a startup, so I want to say I launched the Statement Games in November of 2017. So we're just a little bit more than a year old right now.
Okay.
I know that because it is it's a little bit of a different concept. I understand that there's a little bit of an educational process first, so that we wanted to launch the game, work out the kinks, almost like a free version first.
I understand.
Before we actually started exploring real money gaming options. We also understand that there's a lot of different laws and a lot of different things that are taking place within the country, so to speak. So we want to see kind of like how these individual gaming laws play out on a state-by-state basis. We understand that Jersey is available today from an online perspective, and there's a couple of other different states that have racetracks or brick-and-mortar locations and where you can physically walk into these locations and place bets. But I think there's still a lot to be learned on what's going to take place from an online perspective. So we want to see how some of these things shape out, and then obviously continue building our platform and work out some of the kinks and things like that before we start trying to collect money from people and run real money gaming tournaments.
No, it makes perfect sense. Like a look before you leap, because those things can change on the fly, and it would make more sense to let everything settle down and then to build up everything and then move from there. But I think it's a great format, and that's the reason I asked, because I think it's a brilliant idea, and if there's a way to turn it into a money situation, I think that's I think you got a gold mine. I think you're sitting on a gold mine there, because I think people will play that. The props are. I mean, you look at the Super Bowl. And I know people, very layman, some people with fantasy football, they don't know about the players, right? So you're talking about guys like us, guys that quote unquote play ourselves with this stuff and love it, and we know about every player on every team and are looking at draft picks and stuff like that. For us, fantasy makes sense, right? But for the layman fan, you look at Super Bowl when it comes up. What are they excited about? Well, they're excited about commercials and prop bets, right? So if you can turn football over to another avenue, or so to speak, a fan base, so to speak, where it's more the casual fan that doesn't really have to worry about the intricacies of knowing the player, but just an over/under type thing, it opens the door to a whole different area of fans that you can bring in. That will have fun while watching the games.
No, I appreciate that. And we're not naive. We do understand that a lot of these people who are creating private tournaments and playing on the back end, they are probably playing for money. But that has basically nothing to do with us, and there's nothing wrong with it. So we do understand that things like that take place. And then just more from a selfish perspective, I'm a Giant season ticket holder. I understand there's a lot of different things that are going on from a fantasy perspective, but from a selfish perspective, I really don't care what's going on with the other aspects of the league when the Giants are on. So I might not be able to tell you what's taking place out in San Francisco or Seattle or maybe like in Houston and things like that here, but I have strong opinions one way or another on whether Elliott's going to rush for over 100 yards against the Giants, yes or no. Or a second quarterback, or especially with the Giants, pick a freaking tight end here. I know he's going to get a touchdown or something like that. So having a strong knowledge of your individual teams and things like that, it kind of gives you an advantage in games like this, as opposed to trying to have a broad knowledge of everything that's taking place over the course of a league or some type of sporting team.
Exactly. Now, you said you're a season ticket holder. How do you everything that's going on? I mean, pick a place you want to start. As a season ticket holder, how do you feel? I mean, just tell us how you. I mean, I don't even know what topic or what's annoying you or what you're happy about, but just. I'm not a season ticket holder. If I was, I would have torches outside the stadium getting ready to storm I'm ready now to storm the castle. How do you feel, Mark, about everything that's going on?
Well, I live out on Long Island, so getting to the stadium is never a problem for me. It's basically kind of like getting home. That's a challenge. Since the stadium opened, I can probably count on one hand the number of games or home games that I've missed at that stadium. So the way that I actually feel is I'm freaking sick and tired of losing. I got to spend almost like 2 hours on that death trap known as the GW Bridge trying to make my way home here. And when you're winning 3-5 games a year, it's basically miserable. So with everything that's kind of like, going on here, I'm a full proponent of, if there even such a thing, and maybe I'm just like a little, delusional or things like that. I got no choice but to buy into the model that you can try and win while attempting to rebuild. So I wouldn't say that I'm happy with everything that they're doing, but I do understand it. So from a Beckham perspective, if you can put 3 or 4 starting defensive players on that field and only give up, understand he's a big asset, but one asset, I understand where that's coming from here. But with the way that everything's going on here, I think you just really got to take a little bit of a wait-and-see attitude, or a wait-and-see kind of like a mentality. You just gave Eli the big bonus here, so I'm not going to be too happy if they take quarterback at number 6. But with the first 3 picks here, if they can get defensive players, and those players happen to be able to start from day one, and then even kind of like on the back end, if you can give up that number 3 compensatory pick next year for somebody like Rosen, well, who the hell knows? I mean, Gruden is crazy enough here. Maybe somebody like, Carr or Russell Wilson becomes available at some point in the future. You can solidify the quarterback position that way here. I don't think it's any secret that something can and will be done, but I think I just got to take a step back and, see how this whole thing plays out. I mean, I literally just put my check in the mail for the 2019, ticket. So I just, I can't sit on that bridge anymore for 2.5 hours, listen to Carl Banks and Papa.
Sugarcoat.
Go nuts.
Sugarcoat.
Yeah, sugarcoat, everything like that. But they make a lot of good points here. But it's tough. It's tough watching perennial losing take place week after week here. It's taken something that you look forward to and enjoy every single Sunday into pain. So as long as that stops, I'll be all right.
No, Mark, you said it though. So I'm as a season ticket holder, I value your opinion because you said it. You can't take losing, and you're okay with going defensive. You don't want a quarterback at number 6. I could respect that from your point of view. I disagree. I think that if Haskins is there, we should target him. But I can totally respect the advantage for the perspective of, hey, we need defensive players, and we could punt till 2020. In reference to Eli, you're there. You're in the stadium. You hear the fans that are there. Is the narrative from the season ticket holders, I'm assuming you know more, is it more of a we respect this guy, what he's done, it's time to move on, or more of a perspective of, hey, if we get the right pieces around him, this guy can still win for us?
Both. It depends on who you speak with. I think kind of like in the stadium, and I think you guys kind of like know, it's obviously a little bit of an older of a fan base, so when you get kind of like the older guys, the people who are gung-ho about the organization, like the way that they handle business and the way that they run things for like the most part here. And you take a look at a guy who's been with the organization for 15 years, hasn't caused any major problems or anything like that, has been a pretty much like stand-up class-ass guy. Regardless of how you feel he's performing on the field, those types of fans are going to want to see him stay.
Okay.
I think a little bit more of the younger fans. Me personally, it's definitely like a love-hate relationship with Eli. Some days you hate him. I've been in that stadium. The last one, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean that Tennessee game here. I'm getting freaking pounded on in the rain for basically the whole freaking game here. You're watching the quarterback play there. You want to just rip his head off and kill yourself, but.
Yeah.
There's other
0
games
points,
that you watch, like the game against like Dallas or Indianapolis, and where I don't know, you hang on and you say, hey, you know what? The way that they're moving the ball, maybe there's something that can actually be done. But I take it from a perspective of, if you want to go ahead and make a move. I just want to see it be for the right guy, and I'm not sure if Haskins is the right guy.
Hey, Mark, I got a question for you. Do you think you could set up a game for me and my crew? Maybe like basketball, or I think basketball will probably be good. Where we could set up.
Yeah, I mean basketball. You have the hockey playoffs coming up here, and
right.
I think next week we'll be running the first I mean, crap. I think next week baseball starts, right? So
Yeah.
you can
Stop.
you take your pick of just about anything.
Yeah, you think you could set up a game for us and we could learn the ropes and then get something going for when the season gets when
Yeah,
football season
sure.
gets started?
I'd love to kind of like work with you guys. Maybe we can give away some Giant tickets or maybe some jerseys and things like that, just to put some extra incentives into the game.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool, and then maybe we can get it. Maybe we can have some fans call in, and we can include them in the games, and we work something out and do something fun like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's just statementgames.com. You can access it from a website, a mobile phone, any particular device that has access to the internet. You'll be able to get it. As I said before, it's free. So yeah, check it out. I would value any thoughts, comments, any things like that your group might actually have. I'm always open and welcoming feedback and any chance that I can actually get. And yeah, if you want to, I guess, work with me and pick a game where we can kind of like teach people the ropes here, just to get some thoughts and some creative juices flowing. I'd love to take you up on that offer.
Yeah, no, that's definitely you could book it. You could book it. What's on the future for the site? Like, what do you have coming up that that you're going to introduce or you're going to be rolling out? Anything new or just streamlining?
I mean, there's games every single day that's up there. I'm trying to think something that would actually be new. We'll actually have a tournament around the NFL draft, so that might be fun to try to get you guys involved with. Like, for example, over or under. Alabama will have over or under 4 guys drafted in the first round.
Right.
Over or under 2 quarterbacks taken in the first 5 picks. Things like that.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah.
And come up with
over or under. Haskins is drafted before 6 or after 6.
Yeah.
Right. Kyler Murray. Yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff
that we could, we can take a look at. So
pretty cool.
Yeah, that might be one, and yeah, maybe we can take a look at some Yankee games and some Met games, since I'm assuming that the majority of your base will be either Yankee or Met fans.
And I'm assuming you got a bunch of stuff going on for the tournament, the NCAA tournament too?
As of right now, we don't touch college just because of...
Okay, it's good to know. All right, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to find content or lines on, what the guard from Prairie State's going to do. So maybe as we get into the Final Four and, there's, streamlined content, getting stuff from Duke, Carolina,
teams
like
easier,
that. It's a lot easier.
I understand, yeah. I didn't think about it that way. That's a lot of work to do.
I'm not really familiar with Belmont,
Appalachian State.
And you got WrestleMania's coming up, right? It's like a few weeks away.
WrestleMania's coming up. Yeah. Well, we're doing a tailgate at MetLife, so that should actually be fun. Obviously, we'll have a WrestleMania tournament as well that's up here. But yeah, I'll send you kind of like a note on Twitter or just kind of like a quick email. Maybe we can pick a couple different things that might be fun to get people involved with.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Definitely. My son is begging to go to WrestleMania, so I think I'm going to pop some tickets. So I might meet you at the tailgate.
All right. I'll send you the details. Do you plan on going?
I think we are. Yeah, I was already looking at tickets the other day.
All right, because I'll be at the. I'm not going to be going to the event, but I'll be at the tailgate.
Just tailgating it. Yeah,
just be tailgating it, and then I'll take off. I got enough battles with the GW Bridge here. I don't need to fight another one.
We gotta streamline that way in to get to the stadium, man.
I've tried it all too. I've tried training it in. I've tried taking the Lincoln Tunnel. Hey, when they're losing, it's just not a fun ride home.
No, it's not. Nothing's fun when they're losing. Not like this, anyway.
On top of everything, it takes you at least 45 to 50 minutes just to get out of the stadium. Not even onto the highway. Just like spewing out, and then you have your drag, which is like, oh, that's for another show with what was it? $2 billion to build a gray metropolis. Everything in the stadium is gray. It's just, it has to be the worst stadium. And I was a season ticket holder for such a long time too. All right, Mark. Thanks for calling in.
But it's fun.
Yeah. No, I know. It's fun when they're winning, but. Thanks for calling in. We definitely got to set some things up. That's a Mark from statementgames.com. We'll get something fun going, and once we get all the kinks worked out with ourselves, we'll release it to the many.
Yeah, man. That sounds like fun. I think I'd be interested in doing something like that. I think I would like that statement games.
Well, check it out. Let me know what you think, and of course I'll be working with Marco to see what's gonna make the most sense.
Yeah,
but, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much. If there's anything else that I can do for you guys, please feel free to reach out at any time, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man. Talk to you soon. All right, bye.
Be good. How about that? All right. Cool stuff.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
I'm telling you, I because I was watching wrestling with my son. I had a blast betting on it. It was hysterical.
It sounds like fun. And I would imagine with the wrestling stuff, there's probably a lot of good stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, and then it happens, and you're probably like, oh shit, big man, it's big man.
Yeah, it was like, do you think there's going to be 2 title changes within the pay-per-view? And I was like, oh my God, this is great. And like 1 title change or something like that. And I was like, oh, I think I'm still in it. And it was hysterical. Plus my son was nuts jumping off the furniture, during every move. So it was an added bonus.
Well, we've been going an hour. I think we come back Wednesday strong with all this stuff. What do you think?
By Wednesday I'll have all the clips from your beautiful telephone.
Now, are we gonna play that? We're gonna play the clips live on. Are we gonna play it live on the air?
Do you want me to play it live, or do you want to wait, or do you want me to put a specific video out for it?
No, I think we should do both. Like, I think we should play it on the air because I think it would be hysterical.
Right.
And then you could post it and do whatever you want with it after that. But I think we should debut it on Wednesday night. Because Wednesday, I think Wednesday we're going to have calls. I think it's going to be a mob scene Wednesday night.
Right. Now, is Silver going to call in?
He told me to reach out to him. I don't want to speak for him. I don't know what his schedule is. He said he was going to come on soon. He also said to let free agency die down a little bit. So I don't know if he may be really busy. And I know he just tweeted something with a bunch of edge rushers that were still available. So I think that I don't want to. I'm hoping for Wednesday. The quicker we can get him on, the better, especially with all this stuff, for him to talk about it. I'd love for him to talk about a little bit of what he said on the podcast with the Podfather for our fans who haven't heard it. So I'll reach out to him tomorrow. I'll touch base and see if maybe he can come on Wednesday night. But if not, I would think that next Wednesday we would have a good shot at getting him on, if not this Wednesday.
Sounds good.
I'm excited. I've always been a fan of his, and it's just crazy how shit works out. And he's been ripping the Giants for a long time now, and it caught my eye because I agree with every damn word he says, and I've been saying a lot of the same stuff. So it'll be interesting to hear him on the podcast with us go over that stuff. I think our fans will really get a kick out of it. And I mean, more than anyone, it lines up. It lines up.
I think the iceberg was when Gettleman went on today. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
When I saw, and Carl Banks quickly aborted the conversation with me when he tried to throw Golden Tate's name in with Steve Smith. And he said to me, he compared his toughness and his ability as a teammate and all this stuff. He compared it to Steve Smith, and he reached back out to me and he said, read what I said about what I'm comparing. And I replied to him that any comparison of Golden Tate, first I clarified, which is something Mike didn't do today. I said, was it our Steve Smith or the Steve Smith that we're referring to? Because if it's the Steve Smith, you're kidding yourself. And if it's our Steve Smith, it's an insult to Golden Tate, right? Like, so,
right.
Like, who the hell are you talking about? And here's the other thing. Gettleman cut Steve Smith Sr. So when you hear that, when you see Banks refer to what Francesa said about Tate, you see that like Tate thing from Francesa the day before the Giants signed him. You put that with Silva's podcast and the 4 or 5 things that he throws out on that podcast that line up as well. And man, oh man, is it scary? And then you hear the reports that the Giants aren't interested in Haskins, and you see that clip that back after this posted, Funhouse, where he posted the clip where the caller comes in. It's a 20-second clip. He asks for Mike's opinion on Haskins, and what does he say? He's not even a good player, and hangs up. So, like, just too much. And then you saw the clip, to go back and watch the Mike and the Mad Dog 30 for 30 special. And for Mara to be on there and say some of the things that he said very nonchalantly, and now for all this stuff to come back, when you go look at that stuff, it's horrifying.
It's like company talking points. And it was given to everyone who's on the team, my friend.
I mean, and Francesa, I mean, the last call of the Francesa show today was perfect because it was a season ticket holder. He called in, he voiced his concern about the quarterback position, and it was E-Hive material. It was everything that you could possibly say in the defense of Eli Manning coming from Mike Francesa. And then he had the balls to call the season ticket holder a liar. I don't even believe that you go to the games, and hung up on the guy. And kudos to the guy, whoever it was, that called into Francesa today and asked him if he saw what Roto World was doing, posting him with the Haskins tweet and all that stuff. So there are people that are calling now and confronting him about this thing, and he went on a couple of minute rant about he's running the Giants again and this and that and the other thing. It's pretty funny. Keep calling him if you're listening. Call him every day.
Get on him. The Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme that I posted, you know how many people love that? They would die.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. And even when you heard both of them on there, I mean, it felt so just
talking to the mirror.
Yeah, man. It just felt like 2 old guys who had no clue what the hell was going on, just talking. And we should be concerned. And I don't think there's any way out of it. Like I saw something earlier that said that, don't be surprised if they consider giving Eli an extension. And I got news for you, man. Nothing at this point would surprise me. I am praying it's a smokescreen as we head into the draft. I am horrified that they are going to pick one of the other guys, that it's not going to be Murray and it's not going to be Haskins, and that they're going to go and settle on a Locke or a Daniel Jones or something like that. And I think that is the worst of the worst case scenarios. If you want to tell me that you don't believe Haskins can go at 6, then if you want to sell me on that, then that's fine. But the narrative at that point is just like Mike said, get the best three defensive players you can on the board at that point, and worry about it next year. If it's not going to be Haskins, you don't think he's the guy, then go get 3 solid players with those top 3 picks that you know can contribute, and add to the team, and worry about it next year via trade, or when you get into the draft, moving up, or whatever you have to do. One of those other guys is trouble, Marco. They are trouble.
Yeah. I got a question for you. I'll try to do it in 2 minutes because I wanted to wrap in under an hour.
Okay.
Say the rumors aren't true, and Arizona goes defensive player, doesn't pick up Murray, and we don't take Haskins at 6, and Murray's there at 17. Would you take him?
No.
You pass up on him at 17.
I'm not a fan on Murray. I don't care where he is. Like, I've watched enough film of him where I see a really good college player, and I have concerns about him on the NFL level. I think Haskins is pro-ready with his preparation and his anticipation and his accuracy, his ability to work through reads, and that's why he's the only guy that I would touch. I'm starting to believe that he's going to be there at 6, and I think that we're going to get to a point on draft night where Haskins is on the board at 6 and the Giants are on the clock, and it's going to be electric that couple of minutes before the card comes in, because I don't think we're going to have any goddamn clue where they're going, and I think it's going to be an eruption either way.
Right.
But no, I wouldn't touch Murray with a 10-foot pole. I have one quarterback in this draft that I would touch. His name is Dwayne Haskins. Other than that, if I'm not going to take him, if I'm not sold on him, I'm punting till next year. I really don't like that idea, but I like it better than taking the wrong guy.
I think we'll end on that note. James, my friend, till Wednesday should be a dynamite, should be a fun show.
Yeah, Wednesday should be fun, Giants fans. So we'll see you on Wednesday night. Bleed Big Blue, baby. Always.
All right. All right, everyone. So those who are still here with me, please throw a like on this video. If you're new, also subscribe. Tomorrow we'll put out our other mock draft. I think Tampa Bay will be picking, so we'll get that up. And what else? We have a whole bunch of merch out. There's a link to that in the description if you want to help support us, do different and crazier things. Please do it that way. And guess I will talk to you tomorrow and Wednesday show, 10 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Peace out, everyone.